Hey guys, how y'all doing out there? So what I want to do is give you guys a brief synopsis of my next podcast episode titled "Love Languages and Apology Languages." But first things first, I want to give a good shout out to my guy Sit Selection, hometown merch. You hear me? But now back to the topic at hand. I would then be accompanied with the female perspective, wonderful Tatiana Ward. What we'll be talking about is basically knowing how to be able to love your partner and understanding and respecting their different love languages and understanding what a love language is and just breaking it down to basically teaching people what it is and how to be able to use it effectively to love your partner in the best way fashionable. Also, understanding and breaking down apology languages and being able to show and educate people what that is and how you can then love your partner in the best manner possible. So, can't wait to get this game cracking with you guys. All right, guys.
Conscious gems. The topic of the day, topic of the evening, topic of this week, as you guys know it, is love languages and apology languages. I have a special guest with me. I would love to have been able to do this with a female perspective, and I was able to get me a dope female perspective. My good friend Tatiana Ward, and yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? It's Tatiana. Um, yeah, I'm excited to do this.
so yeah, this is our first time, you know what I'm saying, getting into things like this, and but she's very familiar with the topic, so I'm glad I'm able to get her on the podcast and talk about some things. So yeah, I just wanted to kick these things off and start it off with some background knowledge and kind of where things stem from with love languages and stuff like that. So it came from Gary Chapman and Jennifer Thompson, and so what exactly is a love language? So basically, in a nutshell, this is basically how you would then express your commitment or feelings throughout communication to your mate, or whether it's a friend or even more than that. So basically, how you express yourself intimately, whether it's a friend, whether it's more than a friend, a spouse, or anything like that. You know, it can be on different levels and stuff like that. What you think? What like to you? What does love languages mean to you?
To me, I just feel like it's a way to, I guess, express ourselves.
Right.
But I know everyone communicates differently, so it's just I think narrowing down on exactly how to express, well, how to talk to the person. You know.
Yeah. So do you think like what like when was the first time like you actually got to the point where it's like you discover what love languages is and you was like, okay, this makes sense, or this is something I believe in, or oh yeah, that's my love language. Like when was the first time you ever like figured out, yeah, this is actually spot on? Like
So, okay, my mom is like a very deep spiritual person, and she's big on like seriously big on like communicating. Like communication is like her number one thing, and she's always like installed that into us.
yeah.
So I don't even remember like my earliest like years of like even figuring out when the hell did this come about.
Right.
So like I think all my life, but I think as of recently, like I just started to pinpoint down on it since I've kind of just been trying to figure out who I am and like what I want now that I'm an adult. So I
Yeah.
guess within the last year and a half or so, I've been like really studying it.
You know what's crazy is I felt like everybody loves differently and reciprocates love differently, but I never knew that it was like a concept for it. Like I knew like as I got older, I knew it was a certain way that I wanted to be loved, and I knew it was a certain way I love someone, because you know as you grow, you start to figure out like what you accept and what you won't accept, and what's the best way to love someone and how you want to be loved. And you know we learn this through our parents and through like relationships with our peers, with our friends,
Definitely.
and through dating and stuff like that. So like um, as I got older, I realized it's an actual love language, and I had to realize, like, damn, it's actually ways to love someone. Like, I mean, obviously, it's ways to love someone, but it's actually a language.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of want to get into like the different ones, because like, not everybody knows there's a love language, and also I don't think too many people are familiar with their love language. So
Mm-mm.
I guys want to just like educate you guys on the different love languages that we have right here. So there's actually a total of 5 different love languages. So I'm going to go into them in order, and just give you the name of the actual love language and give you a little description of it. So the one of the love languages are words of affirmation. So basically, this is like using words to build up the other person. So it's like, thanks for doing this, or it's like basically like, thank you for doing this, thank you for doing that, like showing them that you are familiar with their actions and stuff like that. So uh, this is just words of affirmation, letting them know that, hey, I appreciate what you're doing at this time, and letting them know that their actions isn't going unnoticed. So another thing is more so like showing that person like a gift. So it's more so like a gift, saying like, oh, that person was thinking about me, or look what they got for me. Just like, gifts, like physical gifts. Oh, knowing that they get up early for the morning, so you having breakfast ready, like giving them gifts, like stuff like that. Like that is a gift. So another love language as well is like an act of service. So it's like doing something for your spouse, mate, friend, or anything like that. So it'll be like cooking a meal, washing the dishes for that person, vacuuming the floors, like an act of service. So like that would be different than actual gift. A gift is actually physically giving somebody a present. An act of service is basically doing something for someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like knowing that, okay, if y'all guys share a car, before you bring the car back in, it's like putting gas in the car. It's like an act of service. Then quality time. I think this is a big one that a lot of people appreciate, because it shows more and incorporates you guys as well on an intimate level. So by which I mean is that you giving your spouse undivided attention, making talks, sitting down on the couch, TV off, talking, listening, talking about your day, things of that nature, different activities together. So quality time is another love language. And another effective way of love language is the actual physical touch. So this can be from different levels, different magnitude, as in holding hands, to hugging and kissing, and even as intimate as sexual intercourse. So it's basically like an expression of love. So yeah,
I
those
hate
are
touching.
you said what?
I hate touching.
You,
Don't touch me.
you don't like being touched?
I do not like being touched. It's the strangest things, but it just makes me cringe. Like
What,
when I touch it,
like how do you like? But that's a thing though. Like, but how do you get to the point where you can express this to somebody so they don't feel weirded out about things like that? It's not something you tell somebody on the first like time, because like what if they're not familiar with love languages, but you're trying to get to the point where you like kind of like let them get a feel for how you are.
I feel like I'm pretty straight up and honest about it. Like I like what you see is what you get.
Right.
So like I let people know like, hey, I don't like to be touched. And it's crazy, like even if it's like family or like even coworkers. I have a one coworker, she loves to hug. That's her thing. She's a hugger. And I cringe every time she touches me. And I had to tell her the other day, like, that's just not my love language. And she was like, what? And I'm like, seriously, I hate to be touched. And it's not a way that I want you to express that you're happy to see me. I would rather you tell me that versus, you touching me. It's just, I get that's your love language, but it's not mine. So
So my thing is like, did you remember we took the test about love languages and different things like that?
it
So
rings
like
bells.
so before you took the test of understanding what your love language is, did you have an idea of what your love language was, and was it spot on with your results?
Yeah, I feel like I did. I'm big on reassurance. So for
Yeah.
me, not active service, but the first one, what is it? Words of affirmation. Like
Yeah.
that was like I ranked highest in that one
Right.
because I need to know, like, you can be sitting next to me, you can be hugging me, you can be doing all of that, but I need to hear it come out your mouth, which is weird because even if a person says it, it doesn't necessarily mean, like they mean it, which is crazy.
Yeah. Like I feel like mine varies from like situation to situation, or just how I am at certain times. Because I feel like to really know someone I feel like it has to be in and out. Like you have to know the ins and outs of a person. And
Hmm.
sometimes I feel like in certain periods of my life or certain days, it's like certain things can be higher on the list. Like for instance, like with me being who I am and me being in a relationship, say if I was in a relationship and things like that, I feel like as of right now, say I'm down out, I had a long day, things like that. Like particularly like you picking me up, words of affirmation would do good. But then like say if you were to do a gift, give me a gift. Oh, thanks. You gave me like something that was gonna make me happy that I've been wanting to have. Like, like a little gift. You got
Yeah.
me some candy or something. But then say it got to the point where you did something for me. Like I got off from work and you were like I got off from work and say I'm with my spouse and she runs my bath water and so I get off and then I have my dinner and stuff like that. Not saying like that has to be done, but those acts of service makes me think like, oh wow, that person went out of their way to think that this is what was best for me, knowing that this is what was done, like knowing what I've been through that day,
Yeah.
things like that. So
I'm like
and
that
then, like,
too.
yeah, but I also think on some days like I feel like what about what about I thought about this the other day. So what is your love language? What love language do you communicate best with? So like say for instance, I'm gonna just throw this out there. Say if my love language is quality time, that's how I like for it to be reciprocated. But how do you communicate best in which love language, if that makes sense? Like
Um,
basically like say if like okay, I speak English and I can understand English, but I can speak Spanish, but I can't really hear Spanish. Like, does that make sense?
yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if you understand, but it's like I may have a love language that I would love for people to like do towards me, but I'm better at having another love language do to someone else, if that makes sense. Like I may love getting gifts, but I may be better at physical touch than getting someone a gift. You feel me? Because I may just love receiving gifts, but I'm bad at giving them. But I'm but I love like communicating my love to that person through physical touch. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm good at giving out compliments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like when someone gives me one back, or a better example, I'm very good at giving. Like I love to give. But when
Yeah.
someone gives me something, I'm like, why? Why? Or I don't know how to I don't know how to I don't know how to take it. I'm like, why are you giving me this? Like, what?
Do you do you feel like your love language is shaped by how you were raised?
Um, Probably so, because like even growing up, like my mom used to always be like, "Yeah, you pretty, but so what?" And I'm like, "What?"
Oh.
So she would always be like, "You're pretty, but what else are you?" So she always would make sure, like, what are you bringing to the table? You
Yeah.
can be pretty, but you lack substance. So then what? Pretty is pretty dumb. Like that was always her thing. So for me, I'm pretty sure like that's why I like within my relationships, I like the reassurance. And then also like my dad, he's in the picture, but my dad's a provider.
Yeah.
He gives. That's a way of like, I guess another way of me thinking like someone cares about me. Because
Okay.
my dad, he doesn't express himself. He gives. He might not say happy birthday, but on your birthday you got money in your account.
So
Like
so what if
weird stuff like that.
it's like what if you were raised a certain way, but then you were loved another way, so it takes you by surprise that you're not used to this, but you love that new way of how it is, and like you think your love language can ever change? Because I feel like you ever like females or even dudes who have like daddy and mommy issues and stuff like that, so
Mm-hmm.
they're not used to being loved in a certain way. Like they're not used to being like acts of service is a big one. Like how some people will go out of their way for you, like literally give you stuff, do stuff for
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, when I was growing up, my dad wasn't there, so they didn't do much stuff for me. Or my mom literally would you know what I'm saying, would tell me stuff like or wouldn't tell me stuff that like as far as I love you or I almost be here, stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
she would always just be around. So in a sense, it's like quality time. Like she was always in the house, I was always in the house. So we would always go everywhere together, but it was never like, oh, I love you so much, da, 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 give me a kiss, da, da, da. It was never that. So when I grow up, I have someone who literally loves to hold hands, who loves to kiss, who loves to hug. So
Oh,
then so
I'm
my
cringing for you.
huh?
So I'm cringing for you because you're
Yeah,
not
so
used
like
to that. So you're in shock.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So then what happens if like you literally not used to that, and then you either super love it or you super hate it. So then like, is your love language changed, or is it just like then what? You feel me? Because
Um, Me personally, I kind of went through something like that from dealing with like past exes and like relationships and even situationships. Dealing with type of dudes, they were like weird. They had their own issues. They wasn't ready to like battle them and all of that. But now I'm like with someone who like when they look in the mirror, they know who they are. They know what
yeah,
they want. They're not wasting time and all of this. So it's weird to me. Like it's weird. I don't know how to handle it. Like they're very expressive. I'm not an expressive person because I was taught to give. I wasn't taught to express my feelings because expressing your feelings is a sign of weakness. But the person who I'm with, they're like super deep, super emotional. And I mean, I am too, but they're like highly sensitive. So it's weird. So I think it's just up to you, like as a person, like if you feel like this person is worth it to change. But I do think you can, your love language can change because we change every day, literally every minute. Like I wasn't the same person I was a minute ago. So I think you have to like reprogram, like once we become a certain age and reprogram what we were taught and what we were raised on, you know. But it's up to you to do the work, and it's not easy at all. But that's kind of like up to you. So that's my thoughts on
So
that.
who do you think is up to like okay, so say for instance, hypothetically, say me and you are in a relationship and my love language is words of affirmation. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna just say for the sake of the hypothetical situation, I love uh giving words of affirmation and I love receiving words of affirmation. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But and then for the sake of you, this hypothetical situation, yours is, let's say, physical touch, and you like to receive physical touch and you like to give physical touch. So let's just say we're both not good with either of those. Like, you feel me? Like like, let's just say I
Mhm.
absolutely hate it, like holding hands in public, or so I don't like kissing all the time or hugging or anything like that. And with you, like say, like, for instance, you're not really too good with have a nice day, good morning, da da da. You feel me? So like, how, like, do you do you teach that person to love you? Like, what is it up to you to teach that person? Hey, this is how I love to be, like, this is how I like to be loved, or this is what I like, this is what I appreciate. You feel me? Because like, I feel like everybody needs to be loved in a certain way. And also, I think that is, me personally, I think it's up to you to figure out that person. If you like them or love them enough, you will figure them out, and you will not only not study them, like take notes, but you would sit back and really pinpoint like certain things that you love about that person, to go to that extra length to be able to know that, look, if I want to
Yeah.
be everything for this person, I want to be able to step my game up with things that they appreciate and they love. So like, say for instance, like me, sometimes I'm not good with communication. Like of course we can have like intimate conversations, but I'm not always good with good morning this, or, you feel me, checking up on people and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that all
Yeah.
the time. But I know if you let me know, like, hey, look, I would appreciate if you know what I'm saying, you start reaching out more. Like, my sisters even say that, like, I appreciate you if you start calling more or something like that. It's like, okay, when you let me know, I'll begin to work on it. You feel me? Not pressure me like you need to do that, but give me a heads up, like, hey, look, I would rather hear from you throughout the day instead of just at night, or I'd rather hear from you like, once a week as opposed to once a year. You feel me?
Yeah. I think. Okay. Wait. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Like, hold on, like I like, the question is like, who do you think it's up to be able to for you to be able to understand that person's love language?
Oh, well, if you want to be with them, if this is a person who you're trying to pursue, then like you said, you should be studying. Like you should be taking mental notes of this person. And if you want to know something about them, ask them, how do you like to be loved? What do you like? What do you don't like? Instead
Okay,
of,
but how do you do it without being so cringy? This is for the sake of people who really don't know. Like it's me, like me being like a psych major and stuff like that. Like I subconsciously, if I appreciate someone, I subconsciously take notes on little things
mm,
they like to do. colors they like to wear. You feel me? Likes, dislikes. We have conversations about TV shows, movies, or going out somewhere. I will literally take notes on stuff that you do for like ever. So I put mental notes in there. Like, let's say one time, like we'll talk about like a TV show, or we'll go out somewhere like, oh, I like that flower. Like, oh, you like flower? What's your favorite flower? Next thing you know, next time it's a random occasion, I might just throw them flowers at you. You feel me? Like,
Yeah, I
pull
totally get what you're saying. I think it's just that, well, like right now we're in a generation where people don't really care to get to know you. You know?
think so.
Yeah, yeah. Like Drake said it best. We live in a generation where people are afraid to be in love. So, like they're just afraid to like let go and let their guard down to actually even get to know a person, because they probably think that someone is cheating on them anyways, or they have this situation going on that they don't know about, instead of both of the people in the relationship or the situationship or whatever it is that they got going on, just being completely honest, like, yo, this is what it is, this is what it's not, I like this, I like that. But I mean, you can tell a person that, but if you're telling a person that and you keep repeating yourself, and the person is not, like locking on to the information, then it's like, what are you doing? Then you have to come back to yourself and be like, is this person even worth me like opening myself up to? Like,
Okay, so what if I hate to cut you off, but like what if I was never raised to know how to do that? Like, how do you teach me to love you in a certain way? Like, I like you a lot, like stuff like
you
that.
got to
Like,
be ready.
you like how do you expect for me to be ready if I haven't been raised to do that? Like let's just say I grew up in a household where words of affirmation was never passed around. I never got the good jobs, I love you, good night. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, because like let's just say that for a hypothetical situation, how do you expect to teach? Like, because I'm everything that you aspire, stuff like that, but I don't know, or I'm not familiar with that, and I share that with you. Then how do you help me love you?
um I want to say it's, it's very hard. Like, I'm trying to answer this question like in lamest terms as possible and like
Right.
straightforward as possible, but I have a family member. They were in a household and they didn't have that word of affirmation,
Yeah.
and they was always like being put down and all of that. So now they're in another household where it's love. The environment's not toxic, and it's hard. Like, it's hard work
Yeah.
because you have to literally like retrain that person. You have to cancel out the bad with a good. Like, oh, how was your day? Oh, you're going to be a strong black man. You're not going to be a failure. Like, you literally have to like work on it. Like, the person who is trying to educate the other person, like, they have to be strong, and they have to know like it's not going to be easy, but it's like it'll be worth it in the end if this is something that both of y'all want to do, you
But I
know?
feel like that other person who lacks the knowledge of knowing how to love that other person, I feel like they have to also be equally as dedicated to learn how to do that the right
Yeah.
way. You feel me? Like, because I feel like everybody has to work on something in a relationship, and everybody lacks
Hmm.
something in a relationship. And I feel like for everything to prosper in the right fashion, you guys have to be on the same, like this is the thing. I feel like people have to be on the same, have to have the same mental capacity. You feel me?
Wavelength.
Like wavelength. Like let's just say for instance, like say you're ready to be in a relationship right now, but I'm not ready for whatever reason, and but I'm not ready. So you're at a certain stride, you're at a certain length, and I'm falling a little bit back because of the certain things that I'm holding back from you to get to that part. You feel me? So I feel like um to close that gap, it has to be a part to where like we have to meet each other in the middle to be able to prosper to where we both have to go to if we're looking to get to that same destination. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it
But you
does.
both,
It sounds like
yeah,
my old situationship.
I'm weak. I'm weak.
3.5 years of trying to get someone to, like, trying to teach someone, oh, this is this, that is that, 1 plus 1 is 2, not 3.
Right.
Like, it. it was a headache. So if that person, that's why I said it just all comes down to like, if the, for me, I think if both parties want to do it, because if you want to be in a relationship and this person is not trying to be in a relationship, guess what, y'all ain't finna be in a relationship, or it's gonna be a one-sided relationship, and then you're gonna end up hurt, and that other person, he's gonna be, or her, they're
I'm
gonna
about
be
to
living
say.
their life. Or her, because like I said, we're in a generation where we got the city girls, hot girl summer, like, listen.
But if
hot.
what if it's lack of security though? Like I feel like a lot of people lack the faith and hope that there is going to be security. You feel what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
for instance, let's just do an analogy of a house. You feel
Mm.
what I'm saying? Like say I'm a house or you're a house or whatever the case may be, and you're afraid to let somebody in, right? So we're a house, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna lock the doors. You feel what I'm saying? But then
Yeah.
again, if I'm in an environment, let's just say my spouse or my lover or my peer, my intimate partner is the environment, which is the neighborhood, the people that come in and out of the house, they have keys inside. So for me to be, I'm a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my mom, you feel me? She has a key to come in and out. You feel me? My sisters have a key to come in and out. You feel
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So with that being said, certain people hold keys to come in and out of that because, but their house, which has security, and they can be safe inside of me. They're
Yeah,
safe
but not
inside my home.
everyone who has a key does not belong in the house or doesn't deserve to be in the house.
Exactly, and you know why? Because the house has been through hurricanes. The house has been through tornadoes. The house has been burglarized. So when
But is
you
the
find,
foundation good?
was the foundation good?
Yeah.
Man, the three little pigs built the house, man.
Which house is
the,
it?
the the three little pigs, man. They built the
Is it
house. So
is it the one with the straw, the one with the with the sticks,
man,
or the one with the
I'm
bricks?
gonna just let you know it ain't the bricks. You feel me? So
Oh
like
shit.
when you when like I mean I feel like that's a perfect analogy though, because when you people are built off of security. Like people like
Mhm.
want to form security. All this stuff is for security purposes. Like when I say security, I don't mean as far as like keeping somebody in and keeping somebody out. I mean as far as like they want to know that the person that they are letting in is staying in and only staying in that house. I only want that person to have like not saying one tenant, but I want them to have only one house. I want them to only stay with this house. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want a landlord with one house. So like I feel like it's gotten to the point where people like lack security and they lack the faith that that person can keep them secured or that they'll be there through those troubled times. Because like I feel like a lot of things are crazy because it gets to the point where it's like people are so quick to call sister and brothers, and you know what I'm saying, and you get to the point where it's like, is your relationship really tested? Like how do you know that that person is who they say they are if your relationship has never been tested?
Yeah.
Like we can be in a base relationship, like whether it's your spouse, whether it's your brother, your sister, something like that, but what if something really hits the fan, and are you the same person that you are on good terms? You feel me? Like that's the same thing when you're in a
Mhm.
relationship with somebody. You feel me? So like let's just say like we get on bad terms and something like that. Like say if somebody was in the wrong, something like that. Like what is the best way to make things right? What's the best way to apology? That like I mean not apology, but the best way to apologize. Or how do you then know the strength of your relationship to be able to go through what you go through, admit who's wrong, apologize in the best fashion, and then be able to go past the situation and not, and then when it arises again, or if it arises again, y'all know how to nip it in the bud. You feel me?
Ooh wee.
So
Ooh
like
wee.
yeah, because like all those things play a part in a successful relationship, because that then lets you know the strength of the relationship, or the maturity of that person, or the maturity of the other person, or the maturity of the relationship. You feel
But
me?
what
You're not.
but what if the person, they do something and then they say sorry and then they go do it again?
See, but that's why we get into the part of apology languages.
Like, what
See,
you do there? How you handle that? Cause me,
but so now we have to look at the magnitude of the situation. You
right?
feel me? Like for instance, like let's say something like it's something small. Not say petty, but let's say something small. I'll say something like come one that's common with relationships. Um, you know, why didn't I hear from you all day? Something small can be big if you continue to
Ooh,
happen.
you fired.
So, but check me out though. So, what things have to be established as a schedule? You should know my schedule. You should know that stuff like that. But you should also know what I'm not good at as well. That's for both parties to understand. But
Facts.
also, then I think the best thing to do is, hey, so right with what you were saying that as far as like, what do you do when you have constantly warned somebody to not do something and they do it again, and then they say sorry, and then they do it again?
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, I feel as far as like, let's just take this situation, a hypothetical situation for the concept of the actual topic, and let's just say something that's common as what goes on in every relationship. Oh, I haven't heard from you all day. And let's go from there. So with somebody like, say if that's something that agree like reoccurring in your relationship, something like that, and it grinds your gears, it gets you so upset. I feel like something has to be established as a schedule. Not only do we have to establish the schedule, but we also have to let them understand the problem. You feel me? Not only should we let them understand the problem, but also how the problem affects that person. You feel
I
me?
feel you.
So
But
it's
I'm kind of like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but don't start nothing and then you just randomly stop. Because for me, that's gonna fuck me up. Like it's really gonna mess me up. It's gonna do a
right.
number on, like, don't start off with the good mornings when you know I don't like the good mornings. Like,
Okay.
and then you randomly start with the good mornings. And then I haven't heard from you all day. And then you just fired. You fired.
So I feel like if you present the problem, let them know how because this is how I feel like is an effective apology. Because I've been working on, when somebody tells me about myself, I actually listen and then try to pinpoint when I've done those actions. You feel me? So
Yeah.
like, say if I'm somebody who, like, hypothetical situation, let's just say something as if we get in an argument and I call you out of your name, and that's been a constant problem. So for the sake of that situation, um, you tell me about that when we're talking and stuff like that, and I will literally reflect back on times I've done that. I'm like, okay, look, I'm sorry for that. I'll try to do better with that. I mean, I'll do a better apology than that, and I'll also say how I'm wrong and how I work on doing better for that. That's how I would then apologize, because for
Yeah.
one, I feel like I'm I'm taking ownership for being wrong. Two, I am then talking about the problem and then addressing the problem and then saying how I'm going to do better so we can avoid this problem and then move on. Now, I'm also going to let you know that it will be a work in progress. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I will have you work with me to work with the problem so it can be us versus the problem, not me creating a problem for us, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. Got
Right.
it.
So that's how I would then apologize. But for the sake of the conversation, there are apology language. If anybody out there is not too sure what apology language is, we will address those. And there's actually 5 apology languages, like there's 5 love languages. So this is what people need from an apology. So that's what apology language is. What people would need from us, somebody saying sorry. So expressing regret. Expressing regret is one apology language. So this is done by literally verbally saying sorry. So people who are in this category would want to hear that you understand how you hurt them, and how you can then regret what you did, and then you also let them know that, like, how it took a toll on you. So then another one is, I think this is big on a lot of people. This is like the one from the parents. Like, I feel like this is one that parents really love. Like, is accepting responsibility. Like, I feel like that's what my parents are like always would want to hear. Like, not just sorry, but own up to what you've done. Like, that's what I like to do. If I'm wrong, like, I don't always like to do it, but it shows growth. It shows, okay, I did that. That was on me, and I'm gonna work to do better. You feel me? So
Yeah, but some people be like, "Yeah, I did that," and then like they still go and do other shit.
yeah, but
Like,
at the same time, everybody still had their own learning curve, and at the same time, it's not only just up to them to want to literally consciously do better. not, I'm not saying it's just in their court, but it's also up to you to either tolerate that, help
Yeah.
them do better, or leave.
Can
So
you
you got
tell I'm
three
triggered
options.
by this?
You said what?
So can you tell I'm triggered by this?
Yeah, I
I'm
can tell.
triggered.
You keep interrupting me.
Ooh, I'm sorry. Come on,
No,
friend.
no, no, I'm playing. You good. You good. So the second apology language is accept the responsibility. So basically, it's like don't use excuses. So this is one I've gotten into with several people with is like when I apologize, I would say like for instance, say like oh let's go back to the one where it's like oh you didn't hear from me all day. I'll be like oh I was taking a nap and then once I got up from nap I was late to class so I ran all the way to class. To the other person who was then upset about not hearing from them all day, that's to them an excuse. You feel me? But to
Oh.
me, that may be my reasoning to why you didn't hear me. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Well, actually, I am wrong still for not hitting you up, but that's my reasoning behind that. You feel me? So every time like somebody would then express themselves, it's not always deemed an excuse, but it's something people deem it as an excuse because it's something that you're not tolerating and that you don't want to hear because it's something that you already told them to not do already. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big one with that. So basically, in this category, people don't want to know why you did it. They just want you to own up to the impact of what you did, but don't justify your actions. You know, like that's basically what it is. Just accept that you did wrong, and that's it. Don't tell me why you did it, and like that. Just accept, like, just own up to it. Now, I think another one is like genuinely repenting. Like, so people in this category want like they want to know like how are you going to change your behavior, and so it doesn't happen again. So commit to change. So the words don't mean nothing if the actions do not follow. So this is more so like I guess getting like cheated on, and then you take them back. You take them back, and then they're actually like they're going to tell you and let you know. You know how are you going to change your behavior to let me feel secure enough to know this won't happen again? You feel me?
I think at work you come across that too, though. Like, you're late to work all the time, and you're like, "I'm sorry for being late," and then they're like, "Yeah, okay, what are you gonna do about it?"
Yeah. But see, that's why I feel like I apologize with these different facets inside of my apology because, for one, I want you to genuinely know that I do know that I'm accepting responsibility for what I did. I'm also have an action plan for how I'm gonna do better,
Mm-hmm.
but I also want you to know like this is why I did it or this is why it occurred. So you have a perspective because I feel like the best thing that you can do is share it with somebody as a perspective because then you can then know, oh, okay, this how you ever did something or seen a movie and be like like say like for instance, I know you got a group of girls you're close with, right? And you say y'all watch a movie like Girls Trip. I
Yeah.
bet you'd be like, oh, that's me, or oh, that's her, or that's you feel me?
Yeah.
Like so things like that. It makes you understand like, okay, this is why this I understand that person. This person did this because of that. You feel me? That's how you then grow to be one. Because then it's like when you're out shopping to get that person, some people like, oh, I know he like this, because this is right up his alley. Or say if you see like a cool activity going on in the city that you feel like you could do with your spouse, you're like, oh, I know he'll like this or she'll like that. So I'll
Yeah.
take him to that. It's all about perspective. So I feel like with me, I feel like the best thing I do is try to speak about how I feel, why I did it, and when I did it to create perspective to let them know this is how I view stuff and this is how I think. So then it doesn't ultimately put it in a piece to where you're defending yourself. No, I'm not defending myself. I'm giving you perspective. I'm not even giving you an excuse. I'm literally putting you in my shoes to let you understand this is why I did what I did,
Yeah.
or this is why things happen. So then it kind of puts you at peace to be like, okay, now I'm starting to learn things about you. So now we can think as one because it's like, okay, so when this happened, it's like, okay, now I know that you need to not do this. So I'm gonna help you get to that because I know how you think, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I think another thing is the last one. One of the last ones, second to the last one, is making restitution. So explanations would be helpful. So it's like people in this category want to know why it happened. They want to know that you still care and will do whatever to make it better. So understanding and knowing love languages is very, very pivotal here. So basically owning up, like giving an explanation to why you do it, like why you did it, and basically like begging and pleading, I guess, to do whatever to make it better. Like them old 2000 like love songs, like that, like for real. That's really what it is. And I think another one it is like this one of those best friend apologies, like requesting for forgiveness. Like this isn't about feeling entitled to have an apology, but this is asking for it and then giving them time to grant it or not. Like you can respect their decision whether they agree or not. So the thing is with apologies, people don't understand this, but it's like just because you say sorry does not make it better. And then I have the jurisdiction to be able to accept it or not. You feel me?
Totally.
So like I think people like they get to the point where they feel so entitled to the point where it's like, well, I said sorry, they should forgive me. No, because sometimes
Wait,
it's how you apologize.
What's that word you said? Entitled?
Yeah.
I think entitlement plays a big deal with apologies.
You think so? Do you
Yeah.
think do you think people feel entitled to have an apology or just because they say sorry it should be wiped under the rug?
I think people just I have entitlement issues. Like I feel like a lot of people feel like you have to do this or you have to do that. Really, you don't have to do anything. But if someone is saying sorry, like even though I am a little triggered by this one in particular, I'm triggered. But you know, like if someone's saying sorry, like I feel like you can kind of gauge if it's sincere or not, right? Like you can tell,
Yeah.
like, okay, this person really means it from the bottom of the heart. They're gonna cross the ocean for you, or nah, this person just is like really on some BS. They literally just saying it just to shut me up.
But what if they're really sorry? So what if what they did was really wrong? They're sorry and they're really good at just apologizing, but they did but you understand the reasoning behind it, and you understand this they're apologizing for the bottom of their heart, and you like forgive that, but can't get past it.
Um, well, for me, if I know I can't get past it, like I can forgive you, but I'm not really forgiving you for you. It's more so for me, you know? And that's kind of how I look at it. Like it's people who I like feel like I shouldn't forgive or nothing, but I had to realize, forgiveness is something for myself. And yeah, like if I can't get past it, like it's people who have done stuff to me, I can't get past the fact that they've done that to me.
Right.
So I can't continue to be with you, but I'll forgive you and, let some time pass and maybe we can be cool. But
So,
depending
so,
on what it is, I can't. Sometimes I can't.
so what about okay? So do you truly forgive? They say sorry, and you accept their apology, but you don't look at them same and everything like that. So what if y'all get past that whole situation, but that stuff still hurts you? Like for instance, like stuff that your family member have done to you in the past, from a past relationship, like you got cheated on for whatever reason. Like you're able to go love again, and you forgive that person for cheating on you, but you're still triggered, like you're still scared that may happen again or whatever the reason. So like, are you truly forgiving them for doing what they did to you because it still affects you to this day, or what is it? Because like, yeah, see, that's a good question though. Like, isn't it? Because like, I feel like, for instance, I'm gonna take a family member from a situation. Like, I don't like I'm not too fond of a family member at the moment right now, and for what they done to me, like I forgive. I don't. My thing is, do I truly? I say I forgive them for what have they done to me. You feel me? Because I feel like I've moved on, and it doesn't hinder my progression in life. It doesn't stop me from waking up to go get whatever I want to get, to grind, to do whatever I have to do, and what I need to do in life. But I am afraid of having that pain again. You feel me? Like I still get to the point where I close a piece of me off so that pain doesn't surface as much as it would do it like it did the time that it did. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like boils down to a trust issue.
Yeah.
Because then now you can't trust that person. And then we all know like once someone breaks your trust, it's like pretty hard, to like get it back. So I don't know. I feel like you can forgive someone and still not sit at the table with them, you know? Like but maybe that's just how I was like raised. Because my mom has always said, just because you don't like to deal with somebody or someone has done something to you and you don't want to deal with them anymore, that don't mean you got to break bread with them. Like you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for them. So
Yeah.
eventually you got to like learn how to forgive. But my mom something happened with an auntie or something like that, and they don't talk. Like, it's
Right.
weird. Like, you can tell it's clearly, you know,
It's deep.
yeah, it's real deep within the family. Like, you can tell. Like, and it's not just like my family. That's just what happens in people's families. Like,
No, for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
so everyone has a family member or even a friend, like, you don't understand why they did you like that. And it's like, you don't hold no like malice or nothing in your heart for them. You just don't trust them. Like, you'll never let your guard down enough for them to get you how they got you before.
Yeah, and I think a big thing is like I think a lot of people need to learn to understand how to forgive and what the meaning of it is. Because
Mm.
like I feel like with me, like I've forgiven people, but not their actions.
Ooh.
You feel me? Like I feel like it's a big difference. Like because like my thing is like I can never see past what you've done to me, but for the sake of the nature of you being you, knowing that you're growing, I forgive you, but your actions can never like I can't go past that because why? Because I know that that's something that's going to still be on my heart because I know that I'm gonna do stuff that's going to save me because I learned from the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would never forgive your actions. Just like for instance, like you and your boyfriend, y'all like say y'all together, da, 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 he cheats on you. You don't give him a pass for cheating. You're like, okay, I know how it is to be a dude. Like you don't do that. Like you forgive that person for them being them and them understanding that they're sorry for that and whatever reason. But at the same time, that pain still hurts from being cheated on. You feel me? It still hurts.
For that,
So
I think time heals everything because
you think
I
you
have
think
like, listen, like I have a friend. He's like one of like my best friends now. Like, we talk
mm-hmm.
about everything, but he had a baby on me, and I hated him. Like, I was so mad at him. But as you grow and you get older, and you let time go by, like you just like, okay, this is just how that person is, and like it sucks, but I would never be in a relationship with him ever again in life.
Right.
But it is what it is. Like, I forgive him. Like, I know, like, at the time, like, him cheating, like, on me, it wasn't about me. And that sounds crazy. I wanted, like, my ego wants to be like, can't believe that nigga cheated on me. Woo, woo, woo. But no, like, it wasn't about me. Clearly, if I want to make it about me, then I need to say, what was it that I was doing to make him want to cheat on me? Like, what was that I was doing that I wasn't giving to him? You know
Do
what
you
I'm
think it's
saying?
that though?
Huh?
Do you think it's literally that though? Like, what if it's not that though? Like, cause like I feel like a lot of people try to find different reasons on why that person cheated. You feel me? Like I feel like it's a lot of things that people try to find themselves like find reasons for. Like maybe it was me, but what if maybe if it wasn't? Because you can literally put yourself in a what if tornado forever. Like you feel me? Like for every situation.
Yeah.
Like the situation can be anything that happened. Like, cause what if cause I feel like it could be what if forever because the variables can be so different.
Mm-hmm.
The smallest variable. To like what happened if he never seen this person at this time? What if he was in a different school and never met this person? You feel me? Like what if like you were born in a different state? Like it could be so much different things that could have changed the variables to make that story like way different.
Yeah. I
You
feel
feel what I'm saying? So like I feel like sometimes things happen not only just for a reason, but also for growth, for purpose of growth.
yeah.
Like everything that happened to me, like I'm starting to really realize it's for growth purposes only. Like it was literally lessons that were done in my life for me to understand that look, when this occurs again, you have to literally move different or you're going to get hurt just like this again.
Ooh.
And it hurt so bad, I learned like, look, I'm never gonna get played like this, never gonna get hurt like this. You feel me? That's just like if you touch a stove, like the first time you see the food up there, ooh, Bon Dude's got the pot rocking. Go ahead and put your hand in that pot. You're gonna get burnt. You will never ever, or you will think twice before doing it again. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I feel like it just dates back to that because I got to the point where I had to realize certain pain that I experienced through certain people. I forgave them as a person, but I never forgave their actions. And that's what taught me to never to move differently in those situations when they're about to or maybe occur. So I think that's another reason why people find themselves in certain situations is because they either don't learn from their previous situations, or they give that new person the benefit of the doubt and they let their guard down, and it gets to the point where it's like, damn, like I like, and now I'm back in the same situation that happened that time. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then you find yourself in those situations, and it's worse because the people with the good heart get hit with those, you know,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, because when you're a loving person and you get somebody who's manipulative and not wants to take advantage, but they end up taking advantage, that's where you get yourself between a rock and a hard place, because now you love that person and you give them the benefit of the doubt. So it's like, even if they do something wrong, it's like, well, you make a perspective for them. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like say if they hit you, well, I mean, I was getting a little mouthy. Like how could you make a perspective for them? You feel me? When they're that wrong,
Oh,
I feel like it's just certain lines you do not cross. There's
I
certain things you don't come back from.
I think it comes down on the person too, because you know some people. I'm not one of those people. I was, but you know they'll give so many chances, and me at like the first sign I run. Like I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
you want to do this? Oh, peace.
yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. May
No,
peace
I
be
feel
with
you.
you, brother. Like I'm like one of those people. No matter how much like I love someone, like it's been times when I've been like extremely heartbroken and no one would know
Yeah,
because I'm like I have a face that I have in private, like which is my true self, and then I also have the face that I have that I show to the world. So to the
right.
world, no one's gonna know. Oh, Tot's not feeling it today. Oh, Tot doesn't want to live. Oh, Tot's going through this. Like no one's gonna know all the like the mental thoughts in myself, like that I have going on. So I think it just depends on the person, and I don't know. I'm not big on that. Like maybe because I don't show emotions and I don't wear my heart on my sleeve and stuff. Like I don't care. Like either you're gonna be here or you're not gonna be here. And if you're gonna be here playing games and you're giving me the bullshit apologies and then you're still doing you, then what's the point of you even being here? Let me go my way and you go your way. Like I don't know, maybe that's just me. But like I do know what you're saying though, because even I have friends and they're just like, oh, this is that, but he still love me. So I'm still ride for him. What? No, that nigga don't love you, sis. But you know,
Yeah. But look, didn't we just talk about how when you love somebody so much, you'll give them the benefit of the doubt in the perspective before
yeah,
they ever give you a reasoning? And it's contagious, because that's how we find ourselves in those situations where, um, like with the older family members. You feel me? I ain't gonna say we all got that, but like we all know a person who is like that. Like not even just not a family member, but an older person. Like, oh, their relationship is very toxic, and
mm-hmm.
we would like basically we're being our own judge to their relationship and knowing what's tolerable and what's not tolerable, and they have their own inside perspective of that. But then when y'all bring to surface like the topic of their situation, they may end up giving that person the benefit of the doubt in that whole situation. And to even give that person more the benefit of the doubt, they may not even tell you all of the story. You feel me? To save face. You feel me? And then what's the most sad thing about that right there is we will tell the next person tell the next person the right thing and the wrong thing to do, but we will not follow that same advice when it comes to us all the time. Feel me?
Definitely.
So like it's crazy.
Maybe because it's like I feel like I give the best advice. All of my friends, I'm the go-to person that they come to, and they're like, "What should I do about this? What should I do about that?" Like even
Yeah,
like my older siblings, they do that. But
I feel the same way.
sometimes I will know I shouldn't do something in like one of my situations, and I don't listen to myself.
Hmm.
But it takes
I think a lot of
someone
people.
else telling me that.
Yeah, but I think a lot of thing is I think the only reason I'm probably good with just like knowing, not gonna say I always know what to do, but it's like I always felt like okay, I do have a conscience. Everybody has a conscience,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like my conscience is loud as hell. But not only my conscience, it's like I've had lessons that was hard as hell, And I had, like, you know how you had to bump your head hard as hell for you to understand, like, this is right, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and I felt like with mine, like, okay, I have general anxiety disorder. That means I have intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts is that I have thoughts that come in that I can't stop. So like, and I have it, and then it's anxiety. It's a disorder. So my anxiety is always going, going, going. So I have thoughts that come in whether good or bad, and I can't stop them. And it will jump from, like it will jump from chicken and church's chicken to church to the choir to being in the pew to when I used to praise dance to, like, you feel me? Like, see how that just went from all that?
Yeah.
Like, so like it'll just go from one thing to another so fast. So I get ideas, and in 15 minutes, I can have a whole company built in my head mentally. And like, from one thing, we can talk about one topic, and I'll talk about nightmares, and I'll literally go through every probably nightmare I've had, every serial killer, every TV show that I think about, like serial killer, and just it'll just go like that. So like, it just puts me in a space where I sometimes have to mentally stop myself from rationalizing certain things, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because my thing is like, sometimes I know what the right thing to do is, and then I know what my conscious will tell me to do. Your conscious is trying to keep you as safe as possible sometimes. My anxiety is trying to keep me safer. Because, your anxiety do the worst case scenario for everything.
Bruh.
Feel me? So, like, when your anxiety do the worst case scenario for everything, now just imagine throwing a disorder on top of that because it's unregulated. I can't regulate my anxiety. With me having general anxiety disorder, like a 10 out of 10, almost a 12 out of 10, it puts me in a situation to where it's almost to the point where it's like, I almost have to save my ass every time in a situation, because I know if I keep putting myself in certain situations, I will make my anxiety worse because it's going to worry even more, or even more, even more. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know. It's just sometimes coming down to, like you said, learning who you're with and learning how to deal with who you're with, because everybody love language is different and everybody apology language is different. And if you take that time out to literally sit and talk with certain people and like spend more quality time with them, like, 'cause I don't care what your love language is, bro. Everybody love quality time. A
Yeah.
certain amount. Everybody love a certain amount. Now, I ain't saying, smother them, but everybody loves a certain amount of quality time. And the thing is, and the things with quality time though is like, I feel like certain activities that you do as far as quality time is certain things that get you engaged with each other to do partner stuff, like
Yeah.
talking. You feel me? Teamwork stuff, things that get you talking. Because like, the more you talk, the more you learn about that person. The more actions you do together, the more you realize habits. The more habits you realize about that person, to make them happy, because you realize a habit is something that's repeated. That means it's repeated. That means it's a process of something that they do all the time. So if it's something they do all the time, that means they like it.
It's
So
so
if they like it and then you do something like that, that's just like, I found out a habit that you it's not even a habit. It's more like a diet. Like, you like to eat fruits, you like to do stuff like this. Oh, so you're fit. You feel me? I look at your attire. You're always in this. Oh, so I can buy you this to make you happy, or we can go eat here to make you happy, or I can get on a diet with you. Like, stuff like that is like, oh, you're trying to empower me to go to a higher level. You feel me? And I feel like another language is like not even just words of affirmation. I feel like it's like it's like actions of empowerment. You feel me?
No,
Like,
that's
it's
so
like,
true. Like
you think so?
I like that's so true. Like I was in like a really bad spot, but like, even when I was like frustrated and like I dibble and dabble with depression, and it really be fucking with me. But my boyfriend, he doesn't really understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a hard time understanding it. But he always be like, you know what, you gonna have a good day. If something don't go my way or if
Mm-hmm.
something doesn't go how I'm thinking it's supposed to go, and then like I ended up just like, freaking out, spazzing out. He's like, oh well, don't worry about it. You're gonna be all right. You have everything that you need to be successful. You're this, you're that. Like, I think the words of affirmation, like, it really helps. Like, it's one thing saying it to yourself, but when you have like your significant other who like genuinely cares about you, it's like totally different. Like, it hit on another level.
And I feel like it's not even just words of affirmation. I feel like it's more of like actions and words of empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Because it gets to a point where it's like that person thinks this much of me, and they see the potential in me to help me rise. They want me to rise.
Yep.
So it's like almost like taking that person from low to high. You feel me? From just words, and then it's like almost like putting the person in a position of empowerment. Like if I know, like for instance, like you're into like let's say you're into clothes and stuff like that, and I know people who are into designs, who are into, you know, graphic designs and stuff like that, and I know a clothing line that they may need you know, a graphic designer, or they may need somebody who's good at marketing and doing social like media, stuff like that. So then I can partner you with them to help you level up with what you've been wanting to do for the rest of your life. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like it's not also just like, oh, you're going to do better. Like, because I mean, trust me, people with anxiety, they need that words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Because because the thing is like, you have to understand, we're battling ourselves, we're battling like how we think. We're battling what our anxiety is thinking, like has us thinking about 24/7. So like hearing something else from somebody else's opinion, taking the time out of their day to say something, it means a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because we're already battling our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Just already, you know, and we can't even help it. So I do agree, words of affirmation does mean a lot. And I think a lot of people, like when you empower somebody else with your words and with your actions, it makes them go harder. I think that's an even better love language. That's like words of affirmations times two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as if you know I'm trying to do this, like say I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm an aspiring football player, and my girl knows this, and you know, like in, let's just say she ends up trying to, you know, buy me she buys me my cleats, or she not even just buying me my cleats, like she helps me when I go work out, she works out with me, or she gets me stuff that I need training wise, and a ladder, she buys me gear for football, stuff like that. Like, that's somebody who is investing in, you feel me, my success.
Yeah.
Or say, let's say like let's just say another scenario that I'm not, let's say I'm not in a school right now. Let's say I did not ever go to college, something like that. But let's just say my girl went to college, and you know, she's studying, and I want to be there to help her. So I study with her. You feel me?
Yeah.
I help her with that.
Well, like I said, I was in a situation about 3.5 years ago. Well, not even 3.5 years ago. I was with him for like 3.5 years on and off. But he wasn't big on affirmations. So that was crazy to me. But he knew I was in school, and I don't have financial aid, but he did pay for like my semesters. Like he paid for me to go to school, which to me I thought that was cool. So I'm like, okay, he gotta care a little bit. Like, nigga be busting down this tuition money, and then like the fucking books, you know, them damn codes be like $100 for a little code.
Right.
So I totally get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
it makes a big difference.
Yeah. And I just think a lot of people, like what we were saying earlier, a lot of people are not always familiar with how to love people, because they may have not, they don't have it themselves, because it all comes with behavior. You know how you ever like you ever been in class with with classmates, and you be like, ooh, I know your mama don't give a like don't care about nothing you be doing, because I can tell how you act.
Yep.
You feel me? Or you can just like, certain things happen, and you can see how scared somebody gets in a certain situation, and you can just tell by their character who they are, or about who would care.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you feel me, like just certain things like that. And so like sometimes like I have to understand, like I think this, I like a lot of people say it, and it sounds like cliche, like you could tell a lot by somebody with how they were raised. You feel me?
Totally.
And then also like just that's just how people are. Like sometimes you can't just always respect people and think that they have the same heart as you. I know a lot of people say that, but I think it's actually true. A lot of people don't move by the same morals or ethics and codes that you do, because they haven't ultimately went through what you went through. And I feel like another thing is with this maturity thing, it's not about age, it's through experience, because it's this thing where we feel like the older we get, the more mature we are. But it's like a I gotta say, it's like a math problem, kind of like, you know, you look at how old somebody is, so then you would then think, okay, that's got an equal maturity, but it's not. You would think the older somebody gets, the more things that they've experienced. So then you would think they've been through more things, which then will equal maturity. So that's how I feel like things really go. So that's why you run into these different people who are at different ages, if they haven't experienced nothing. You feel me? Just like when you've seen a baby who's walked at an earlier age than a later age, and it's like, oh, okay, because what they experienced, what they've been around, their environment, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like it's crazy. But I mean, is there anything else that you would like to add? You know what I'm saying? Or bring up for the gist of the topic, or anything that you want to let people know?
Um, what's your like after doing the research for apology language and love language? What's the biggest thing that you've taken away?
The biggest thing I actually took away from it that there's actually, I mean, to be honest, the biggest thing I took away from it was that there are different ways to apologize, obviously, and there's biggest way to love. But I think the best thing is a combination of knowing and having knowledge of how your partner is to then incorporate each one of those towards your partner. Because you have to be willing to know how to accommodate, how to apologize, and how to love your particular partner because it will vary in different situations and the magnitudes will also vary. Feel me?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing I took away was just the knowledge of knowing how to apply these to my partner. You know what I'm saying? And then also knowing that you can't just ultimately just categorize yourself as only knowing one or just having one love language. Because we all have many and several, and we all need to be loved in certain ways. So, yeah, I just think, yeah, I mean, I just not more. Yeah, that's kind of what I took away from doing the research on that. You know.
So do you think now that you know this information is definitely going to like change your outlook on how you deal with like certain females and even not even just females, but just how you deal with people like in general?
To be honest, no, because I think the beautiful thing that I do have, honestly, like not even being funny to toot my own horn, I think the best thing, if you people know me closely, they know my big like one of the biggest words I love to speak on is perspective. Like it's like a lot of things about perspective, like with how you view things, how you handle things, with how you view it. You know what I'm saying? How it's presented, and a lot of things can be dressed up nice and have no substance.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because it's about perspective, and I feel like I feel like with how I am as a person, with me knowing this, it will not change my behaviors because I feel like my behavior has been not only genuine, but I come with a good perspective to understand the ins and outs of what I am doing when I come to the table and what I bring to the table. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like with how I love, it's not going to change because it's been authentic. You feel me?
Yeah.
And also, I feel like with how I apologize, it's also been authentic. But I think the biggest thing with apologizing is knowing. I mean, it's the basis of it. Knowing what you're apologizing for, knowing how you're gonna change it, and then knowing like what you actually did, owning up to that. So I honestly feel like there's different ways to apologize, but I feel like a lot of that to be successful, to be incorporated into it, that's how I would do it because it hits every area of knowing that you know what you did, you know what the problem is, and you know how you're gonna do better. I think everybody would want to know that with the big magnitude of knowing what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's kind of how I would take away from it.
Feeling that. I respect that.
Yeah. So what about you? What do you feel like you can change or make better as far as learning all this information from our conversation?
For me, I think it applies to like my relationship now. Like we are like yin and yang. Like I said, he is very touchy feely, like emotional, which is kind of weird for me because I've never dated. Like I've always been like the emotional one, and I'm not emotional at all. But I realized like I needed someone to be emotional, so it just kind of works out.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, but I think it's going to help me like realize, okay, like he needs to be loved like this.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not a bad thing. Like I can be a little bit more sensitive. Um, and even like with the apology language, like me and him, like we've talked about the apology language and the love language. So it's pretty cool to just see how like now that he knows what his is and I know what mine is, we're able to communicate better. Which we
Right.
didn't really have communication problems, but now it's like really like flowing.
It's all learning. It's all learning.
Yeah.
So what I did want to present to to wrap up the podcast and to wrapping up everything like that was a question for the podcast, the ending question, closing question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's kind of a couple questions in a question. One, one, do you believe in zodiac signs, and do you believe that they are not only accurate, but do you see that you can then apply these signs, like these readings from these signs, in your daily life?
Is this for me or like the listener?
I'll say it like this: it's for you to share your answer to present to the listeners.
Oh, okay. You want me to answer now or like?
Uh, like, duh, yes, I want you to answer now. This is not what you talking about.
My bad, y'all. I've been up since 5 this morning. Chill on me. I actually do believe in zodiac signs. I'm an Aries and my boyfriend is a Sagittarius, and we're like the perfect match. It's weird,
I'm weak.
but yeah. What about you?
So you do believe like they're accurate?
Yeah, I don't put too much like, weight on it,
Oh yeah, for
but
sure.
like I dated 2 Virgos born on the same day, one a boy, one a girl, and I'm not with neither one of them. So I do believe like, they do have some of the same characteristics, but
Yeah, for sure.
fuck Virgo season. All right, what's up? What's good? Kidding, guys. Just kidding.
You know what's crazy? Um, I've had people ask me, like even people I've dealt with, or even like friends,
Mm-hmm.
like before they knew my birthday, they've gotten to know me and they ask me like, "What's your zodiac sign?" And I'll be like, "I'm a Cancer," and they'll be like, "Oh, that makes more sense now."
It
To
totally
this
does.
day,
So
to this day, I don't know what that means though. Like I don't know what that means.
it makes
Like
sense. It makes so much sense now that I realize that, because I have a Cancer brother and a Cancer sister. I grew up with Cancers, so I kind of know like how y'all work. Y'all are very emotional people. I'm not an emotional person at all, but y'all are water signs, So y'all are like really cool people. Y'all are very loyal people, but don't piss y'all off because y'all got like a temper. Like y'all can be a little wild, but y'all mean very well, and y'all wear your heart on y'all sleeve. So y'all good people still.
thanks for the reading.
My bad. But how far off am I?
No, that's actually right on.
Exactly.
I think it's right on. I don't think I'm to be honest, I say this a lot. I don't think I'm emotional. I think I'm in tune with my emotions. I think that's really what it is. Like
I think.
I think I'm in. I think I can have like not dramatic mood swings, but I think that I'm just in tune with how I feel when I feel it, and I'm not afraid to share how I feel or communicate that in an effective manner.
Okay, I like that. I think y'all are just like you said, you're very in tune with your feelings.
Right.
But y'all don't have a problem expressing y'all's feelings. Well, at least the ones that I've come across.
Yeah, that is true. I don't think any Cancer has a problem with expressing their feelings, and
You
that's the
know,
thing. And even if they, I think the fact that I can speak for all Cancers, it's not that we don't have a problem expressing our feelings. I think we have a better way of how we even express it, like how we communicate it, if that makes sense.
yeah.
You feel me? Because like I feel like I say I'm very good with how I communicate, like once I get talking, but then I also feel like I'm better with like communicating how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem with certain people because people can feel something, but it's like, dang, I can't get it out. Dang, I can't put it into words.
That's
But I
me.
feel like, yeah, but I feel like I'm in tune with myself and my emotions, so I'm able to communicate that in an effective manner because I feel like I have a luxury of knowing how to talk or speak them
Yeah,
into words like this. But
that makes
yeah, so I say that for the most part.
that makes total sense though.
So yeah, thank you guys for listening. It's been a man, I don't even know how long this thing is, but I do appreciate you guys for who all tuned in for the whole podcast. We had some minor interruptions, but I really appreciate you guys who actually tuned in and got a lot out of this actual podcast. I appreciate you, Todd, for being on here and offering your perspective on this because I really needed a female perspective to actually get on here and talk about it from the female perspective in a relationship, where they have it with peers, where they have it with a spouse, intimate relationships with anybody, anything like that. So I do appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. So I got a real good treat, good surprise for you guys coming up this month. Stay tuned. There's a lot of things that's going to be announced. Again, my Twitter handle, it is Adrian P _MM. Again, it's ADRIAN P _MM. And also my Instagram is AD _Palmore PALMORE. Again, my Instagram is AD _PALMORE. I'm now on YouTube, so comment, subscribe on that thing. So Todd, you can go ahead and give me your info if you want to give me your info.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess my Twitter. Sorry, wasn't prepared. Wow. All right. So my Twitter is Totword _. That's TOTWORD. And my Instagram is Bryce _Amelia. CE _AMEILA. Yep, that's it.
All right, thank you for being on here again. I told you ain't had nothing to be anxious about or be nervous about. It was smooth. Told you, but I appreciate you.
You just started something, boy.
It's us all. I thank you for being part of the foundation that's being built with this podcast. It means a lot to have people like you get on the podcast and talk your talk on here, because a lot of people need to be informed. A lot of people need to know that this is part of mental health, and raising awareness is something that I'm an advocate for, because a lot of people need to know about these topics, and they need to know the ins and outs of these. And we're regular people doing extraordinary things and being advocates for mental health, because it is very imperative for us to raise the awareness, because it's very important and it's in our daily lives. So thank you again for being on the podcast, and it was a joy having you.
Likewise.
And with that said, Weezy out of here.
Audi.